Flipping the classroom. An introduction. What is a flipped classroom? Instead of traditional homework, with a flipped classroom, students are introduced to concepts via videos they watch at home. There are plenty of advantages, but there are also some disadvantages to a flipped classroom. The first advantage, and probably one of the most important, is that students hit the ground running during class discussions. This means that instead of spending the first 15-20 minutes of a class explaining the concept, they already have that background knowledge. So you can go right into some practice, some clarification, some deeper understanding of the topic at hand. Another advantage is that review and differentiation is easy. Since the access to the videos is constant, students can easily go back, rewatch a video, and clarify any misunderstanding that they have. Students who need to hear things more than once can also easily go back. And another advantage is that parents can take a more active role. So often I hear that parents can't help their child with their homework because they don't understand how they do it. We don't teach math the way that we used to, and so parents are struggling to try to keep up. By watching the video, they can be on the same page their child is. And finally, students are much more engaged in their homework. This is the video generation, the technology generation. They've grown up with watching things on video. They've grown up with that interactive piece. So with a video, they can watch it, they can stop it, they can start it, they can watch a piece over again, whatever they need to help their understanding. As I mentioned, there are some disadvantages. Access to computers and internet is probably the most important piece of this. If a student doesn't have a computer and the internet at home, it does become an issue. If they have a computer, it's much easier because we can simply load the videos onto a flash drive, they bring them home, plug them into their computer. But without either of those, it definitely becomes something that we have to work around. Some workarounds include issuing an iPad or an iPod to a student, putting it onto a DVD so that they can watch it on a DVD, and things like that. Another disadvantage is the accountability piece. If they're watching a video at home, how do we know for sure that they're doing it? Well, I'll deal with that a little bit later in this video and explain how that is handled. A disadvantage from the teacher's perspective is that sometimes they do take extra preparation, especially if the teacher is creating their own videos. However, with a lot of the quality, very high quality videos that are available online, some of that extra preparation piece can be taken off the shoulders of the teacher. So, how does flipping the classroom work? The first step is that students are given an assignment in one or more ways. One way that's very effective is that students can be given a website to check out for their homework. It can be a blog that the teacher regularly uses or an actual website with the video embedded. Depending on the type of video, this can be very easily done. A QR code can also be a very easy and very portable way to provide access to the assignment. A QR code is linked to the video or an assignment page where students can go directly to the video from there. The advantage to the QR code is that it's very flexible and you can watch it in the car wherever they have access. QR codes can be scanned using an iPad, an iPod, a smartphone, or even a laptop with a camera attached to it. A closed social networking site is also another way that students can get onto their flipped classroom assignments. A closed network site is a site that a teacher can set up and only the students have access to it. Each student has their own password and username, and they must be invited into the social network. This is a very flexible way also because teachers can post assignments, they can make comments, students can ask questions that way, and it's not open to the public, so you don't have the fear of people from outside coming in and adding inappropriate content to it. Of course, there's always the famous paper handout. You can always hand out the piece of paper. It can include a QR code and a link to the video, along with a due date and a place for other comments. The second step with the flipped classroom is that students have to watch the assigned video. While they're watching, they're encouraged to stop, think, and replay the video as needed. So, for example, if a student is listening to a lecture in a classroom, they can ask a question. With a video, that's not an option. However, since they can stop the video, back it up, watch that piece again, they can usually try to figure it out. And that adds another piece that's really great for kids, is that they have that problem-solving piece on their own. They have to think about what they're watching and what they're learning. They become the controller of their education. Remember, the goal is to understand and interact with these videos, not just watch them. The last step with the flipped classroom is that students have to respond to the video. This is where that accountability piece comes in, and where teachers can make sure that students are watching and, at least to some degree, understanding what they're watching. A short online or paper quiz is probably the easiest way to do it. Typically, an online quiz would be issued on a link that is attached to the video or posted on the website where they originally got the link. Of course, a paper quiz is just sent home with the homework assignment for that day. Students turn it in the next day. Again, the advantage to an online quiz is that teachers can have it immediately. They can also allow for some interaction from home so that if students have a question, they can immediately ask that question. A short written response is another way that students can respond to the video. Perhaps a teacher could ask an open-ended question to explain something that they learned, or maybe make a comment if it's about something and what their thoughts are and what did they learn for that day. And again, this can be done either online or on paper and turned in the next day. The fourth step is that students come into class ready for discussion and practice, and this is where the flipping of the classroom really makes its mark. Instead of having to introduce a topic, they've already got some background knowledge, and you can start off with, what did you think about that video? What was confusing to you? What did you understand? Did it clarify anything? All of those questions that normally it would take 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get into. And finally, as I mentioned, students can watch the video for review at any time. Maybe a quiz is coming up. Maybe as they work through their problems, they realize, wait a minute, I misunderstood something and I don't get it, so I need to go back. Perhaps as they go on to another concept, they need to review the previous one to better understand it. All of those are options at any time. Now, where does a teacher get the videos? There are a number of places. The web is the first place to look. There are an amazing number of very, very high quality resources that teachers can use. I like a website called LearnZillion. I've set up accounts for all of my students, and these are exceptional grade level videos that are set to the Common Core standards that our classroom is using. They're very high quality. There's a guided practice piece that students can do, and because it's a student account, I can keep track of who's watched it and who hasn't. Many of the math ones also have quizzes attached to them, so there's that feedback piece right away attached to the exact same video. YouTube is another place to find some great videos. Obviously, YouTube has some questionable videos, some of them funny, some of them not so much, but there also are many, many, many very high quality, great educational videos that can be accessed through YouTube. Another resource is Khan Academy. Khan Academy has been around for a lot of years and has educational videos similar to those at LearnZillion. Additionally, there are other high-quality sites that can give some great videos that teachers just have to find. Of course, a teacher can create his or her own videos as well. It takes a little more time, but the advantage is that the teacher can have exactly the concept that they want presented on the video. No extra stuff. They're not missing anything. It's exactly what the teacher wants. And that's the flipped classroom.